Some pretty incredible developing news coming out regarding the drone situation that started in New Jersey and now is all over the United States. So this is a summary of what this theory is, okay? It is after speaking with some folks that I won't go into detail of their identities. Now I believe that the drones are our own military and government attempting to intercept a suitcase nuke that either has already entered into a major city or cities in the United States or is trying to prevent them from entering by detection through technology of these drones. They are saying, we believe that these drones are a defensive mechanism by the United States. These are our drones. Do not shoot them down. They have nuclear sniffing capabilities. They are trying to find nuclear bombs that may have been smuggled into the United States. And as you guys know, we have massive air defenses. As I've shared with you, a nuclear attack from air, there are several steps that would need to unfold. It sounds like they are saying they believe that a nuke has been snuck into the United States. The drones are here for the purpose of trying to sniff them out. It says this would also explain why all the agencies are playing dumb. As if they told us the truth, there would be mass panic and chaos in major cities like New York and New Jersey if they were to tell the general public this information. So they are saying, rather than fire something in from the air, they have smuggled it in, they believe, in from the land, and they believe that it is here. And they are saying they believe that these are nuke sniffing drones that belong to the United States. And they're saying, do not shoot them down. They are actually here to protect you. And right now, the reason why the information is not coming out the way it typically does is to stop mass panic, essentially. But honestly, I think that they should just let people know. Because right now, just the drones in and of themselves with the no answers. And we're also, it's pretty evident, in my opinion, to see John Kirby and the Pentagon and them coming out and saying these things like they're not a foreign, they don't belong to anybody else, but we don't know any information on them. Well, you must know information on them. They're not from, if you know that they're not from somebody else, they know that they belong to the United States. So again, this is what is starting to come out right now, and it all really makes sense after you have seen that they are saying, do not shoot them down. Those that approach this need to wear hazmat suits, call in the bomb squad, because these are tied to nuclear activity, these drones, and they're saying they are not a harm to the public. And so this is, again, one theory. Now, a lot of people were speculating that these were other nations that were preparing for an attack. We're hearing that there could be the threat of an attack already here, and these are defensive mechanisms to try to stop that from unfolding. So let me go ahead and play for you the video. I see people saying play the video, and if you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second, hit that like button for me, subscribe to stay up to date. Like I said, as news comes out, I will keep you up to speed on this, and there is also details coming out as to when and where this might come out. And again, I just want to say this, you guys, this is all speculation at this point. But a lot of this, I kind of put 2 and 2 together with the mayor's speaking. So let's go ahead and play this for you. Let's go ahead and see where that video footage is. Here we go. All right, let's play this.
Michael Melham is the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey. Now, when you walked up to set just moments ago, you said you were just briefed. What can you tell us?
On the way here, I was on the phone with my OEM team, and we now have guidance coming from the state. And that guidance does say 2 different things. First of all, if there is a downed drone in our vicinity, we are immediately to call the bomb squad of our county. And second, our fire department has been instructed to make sure they wear hazmat suits.
So if something falls out of the sky that people have seen, and some of these things are as big as an SUV, if that happens, you're to treat this more than a plane crash. It's treated like an attack on the homeland?
That is correct, because they're not quite sure if there's a payload or not. And that's what we were told during our briefing on Wednesday.
Wow. So look, you said that you were insulted by how the Pentagon and the White House, their messaging coming out. Tell me what you're hearing from them, and why doesn't it match what you were just told moments ago?
So we're being told that people in New Jersey must be crazy, that they're only seeing small aircraft, and that's just not the case. If you're on the ground in New Jersey, my residents are concerned, and they're quite alarmed because they have no idea what's hovering just over their houses.
Have you seen these?
I have.
And how would you describe it?
They are definitely small aircraft. I mean, you got to understand, a drone is considered an aircraft because it's flying in unrestricted space or restricted space. So it's considered an aircraft. These do look like a small aircraft. There's no doubt about that. They don't look like the personal drones that we're used to seeing, but they're very large, very large.
All right, let me get to this. After several lawmakers have called for authorities to shoot down the drones, now residents say that they'll just have to take matters into their own hands if the government is refusing to act. A couple of social media posts representing that sentiment now. A good shotgun will fix that problem. Another semi-automatic 3-inch Magnum, 00 buck full shot. Let me ask you this, because also what you told me as you were sitting down, we had quite the conversation. There are several theories, and then some people based on high-level conversations, like our own New Jersey representative Jeff Van Drew, Tony Gonzalez, congressman out of Texas, are saying they're having high-level conversations with law enforcement and also experts who are saying that there's a possibility that there's an Iranian mothership with drones. Now, you sat down and told me something even more disturbing.
Yeah, so what we've been told, we had an unprecedented briefing on Wednesday. I mean, 200 state mayors were all gathered together, and we learned exactly what the state of New Jersey learned, which is very little. But the thing that we did take away from that was that we were told very point blank that these drones are hovering over our critical infrastructure. Now, that's interesting because they're not doing any harm. They're just hovering over that. We're also told that there's no credible threat. When you start putting things together that they're telling us.
Here it is. Here it is. You hear him saying that there is no credible threat. They're saying they know that there's no credible threat, and they are hovering over our assets, but they're not committing any harm. It is because, watch, take a look. He's going to say it here right now. Like it just came together. He's going to say it.
You know, critical infrastructure, no credible threat. They're unwilling to shoot them down. They're unwilling to do a temporary ban, and we can see them that they have lights on them. So something's not adding up here. It sounds like it might very well be our highest level government. It might be government assets that are being deployed as a countermeasure.
As a countermeasure. And so two things can be true. We know the timeline, according to Van Drew and others, matches when this so-called ship, mothership, whatever it is, left Iran and appeared somewhere off our eastern seaboard. Now, if it were chock full of drones and it released those drones, that timeline fits, according to Van Drew and others. So if that's the case, of course, then we would put things in the sky because you know the government would know. Look, it forces all of us to try to do some sort of calculation of why the government wouldn't just say something.
They have to speak. I mean, they have to be transparent. There's no doubt about that, because what else is happening is now conspiracy theories are starting to flood social media.
What happens if somebody shoots one of these down? How does the law look at that?
Well, we were advised to make sure that we tell our residents that that is not lawful. Drones are considered aircraft, and FAA, you cannot shoot an aircraft in New Jersey. So we're being advised to tell our residents not to shoot them down.
Are you worried?
We're concerned because, one, New Jersey can't act. We don't have the ability to take them out of the air.
Mayor Melham, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
So there you have it, you guys. In my opinion, I think that this could be it. Again, this is a theory, and then I've had a couple of people message me a little bit of the details as well, saying that they believe that this is what is going on as well. They are saying that this is starting to come out, and it really starts to make sense when you put it together, because they are saying that these drones, they are not a threat. They're not attacking anybody, but they're flying over major cities, and they are also flying over critical infrastructure locations. They are flying over military bases, and they're saying, but there's no harm being done. Now think about it. Would military bases and all of these different U.S. assets allow foreign drones to fly in and just do all of this stuff? No. And we have heard it quite plainly. We know they're lying to us, and now we know why they are lying to us. It is because they believe that there is already currently an active threat here in the United States. This is what they're saying. This theory that they're coming out with is that this is what's taking place. And right now they're saying the drones pose no threat. Please do not shoot them down. Do not bother them. They are actually here to help you. They believe that they are going around trying to detect any nuclear activity or disruptions in various major cities. Now, the fact that there are so many of them in the New Jersey, New York area, well, You speculate, what does that mean? We're also seeing them, as I mentioned, in various harbors here in Houston. There are also some on the West Coast, San Diego. There's around critical infrastructure locations and all of these different places, military bases. So there is major concern, as we have heard the warnings from the FBI for quite some time, that there have been sleeper cells that have come in from the south that have been planning attacks. So they are saying that this is potentially a suitcase nuke. In other words, they're not shooting it in from the air. They have walked it in. Somehow they have brought it in, maybe through a port, maybe through land. But we are hearing that there is a concern right now that that is what is going on, that the U.S. believes this is taking place. Now, to not cause mass panic and disruption, they are not telling the public what it is. But at this point, it has caused already so much panic that these nukes are that these drones are everywhere, that at this point, I think that they should just kind of let the American people know these are for our security. We are trying to scope out what's going on. There's major concerns about this. And I see the super chats coming in. Thank you so much. Vicky Parnell says, from Prophetic Visions and Dreams YouTube channel, said weeks ago there was 10 suitcases with nuke bombs placed in the U.S. in different states waiting for the green light for detonation. Wow. Yeah, we are hearing that it could be in a city or several cities. Thank you for the $10 super chat, V, as well. Yeah, so we are hearing that is possibly what this is. Now, again, putting the pieces together, you heard the New Jersey mayor himself come out and say this, saying that this could be the United States responding to what we believe is an attack that is on the way. So this is what they are saying is unfolding. Now, in addition to that, let me share with you the latest, the news media headlines as well. As I mentioned before, put a 1 if you thought it was pretty apparent that the Pentagon and John Kirby was lying. Now we're hearing that they are lying, and it is because they are trying to protect the American people. Put a 2 if you didn't think so, but I mean, take a look at this with me. This is the latest coming out on this, and I think everybody is saying the same thing, and that is that they know more than they are letting on. Take a look at this with me, the latest coming out from Fox News.
For more on these still unexplained drone sightings, let's bring in retired U.S. Army Colonel Joe Bacino. Joe, you were a spokesman for CENTCOM, right? I mean, if the military was somehow involved in flying these drones, shouldn't somebody come out and say so?
Somebody should say so. I think right now what you're seeing coming out of the Department of Defense is just not believable. There's 2 statements coming out of the Pentagon. 1, we have no idea what these things are, and 2, these things are not a threat. Okay, those 2 statements are in conflict with one another. If you know they're not a threat, then you know what they are.
Right, and you know, in these days when the Ukrainians and others have honed the ability to arm drones, to use, you know, high explosives on drones, you know, the fact that these things are just flying willy-nilly around military bases in this country is not very comforting.
No, it's not. And if you think about, John, U.S. Northern Command, they're based in Colorado. This is the American command responsible for securing American airspace. They have AI-based intercept. They have observation based on commercial satellites all over the country. They have a $12 billion air defense system over the country. I just don't believe that they don't know what's flying for weeks and weeks over American airspace, over residential areas, over the Picatinny Arsenal, which is an American military research lab in New Jersey.
Yeah. It was disturbing enough when that Chinese spy balloon was, you know, floating over our country for a week or so. But these are even more sophisticated and probably more troublesome, just because, you know, we heard one New Jersey senator say that New Jersey sent one of its choppers after the thing, and it turned off its lights and disappeared. That doesn't sound like it's operated by somebody friendly.
Right. It's clear here that the Pentagon has some information, and I think maybe we just keep in mind here that this is the same Pentagon that back in January lied about the location and condition of the U.S. Secretary of Defense, that lied about the conditions on the ground in Ukraine, that lied about this Chinese spy balloon for about a week. So I think that we can't really be comfortable with the information we're receiving here. I think, in my mind, it is unlikely that this is coming from overseas. I think given the size of these drones and given the likelihood that these are piloted by line of sight, it may be piloted from the water, but I don't think this is coming from hundreds of miles away. I just don't think, drones of this size could come from hundreds of miles away because it's probably also powered by lithium batteries. I think this is coming somewhere close to the New Jersey, somewhere close to the coast.
The governor of New York has taken notice. This all started with ordinary citizens getting a little upset at what they were seeing, but now the governor has taken notice. Kathy Hochul put out a statement saying, "This has gone too far. I'm calling on Congress to pass the Counter-UAS Authority Security, Safety, and Reauthorization Act." This bill would reform legal authorities to counter UAS and strengthen the FAA's oversight of drones, and would extend counter UAS activities to select state and local law enforcement agencies. The Biden administration must step in by directing additional federal law enforcement to New York and the surrounding region to ensure the safety of our critical infrastructure and our people. It's kind of interesting when, the governor of one of the most largest, most populous states in the country is kind of prodding the Biden administration to get involved here.
Right. Yeah, there's also things that we can do. We can jam these. We can bring these things down. We can use electronic means to jam these things. We can control the airspace. We can use electronic means via commercial satellites. We can use our AI-based targeting. So there's a range of options that we have here. And I just think we need to know why they're not being employed.
Well, and you suggest that the Pentagon knows more than it's letting on.
I really do. I really do. It's not believable that we have no idea. That doesn't, given everything we have flying, everything that we have up in the air in terms of, commercial satellites, observation platforms, our own aircraft, our own radar detection. It's just not believable that we don't know. It's not, and this Pentagon has demonstrated that it is not to be believed on really critical issues. So I just think, where there's an absence of information, where there's a void of information, I think conspiracy will fill that and fear will fill that. Just tell the American people what's going on. What information do you have?
Good advice from a former Army spokesman, retired U.S. Army Colonel Joe Bacino. Joe, thank you.
So there you have it, you guys. Now, again, there you heard it. They said that we know they're lying. They know more information. They could take these down. Why are they not? And so what is coming out right now, I'll share it again for those of you that are hopping on a little bit late here. I see more people are pouring in as we're approaching 8,000 people live with me in the room, is we are hearing that they don't want to take these down because they are ours, and there is currently a threat against the United States for potential attack here on our soil, but they don't want to cause mass panic. So they're not saying anything about this. They're just saying they're not a threat. Don't shoot them down. If they do go down, please stay away from it. And local authorities, don't go near it. Call the bomb squad, have them go ahead and take a look at it. And what is coming out on this, as I mentioned, I kind of got this from the mayor when he came out with his speech. He said, this appears to be, he said, when you put it all together, a defensive mechanism by the United States for potential threats of attacks. He said they're flying over our military assets, our nuclear facilities, our critical infrastructure systems, and the federal government is okay with it. And they're telling everybody not to touch them, not to worry about it, claiming they don't know anything about it, but also at the same time saying it's not a threat. And they literally said, how can you say it's not a threat, yet at the same time claim you don't know something about it? So we know they know something about it, but they're lying about it. And the reason for that is because they don't want to cause mass panic. And so they started to come together that this is us, and they are on the hunt right now for a potential threat and attack. And here is one of them that have come out now. I am seeing several of these now, and it's starting to come out. Take a look again for those of you that want to see the latest coming in a little bit later. After speaking with some folks, and I won't go into details about their identities, I now believe that these drones are our own military and government attempting to intercept a suitcase nuke. So in other words, not launched from the air. Somebody is walking these in, likely from our southern border or in from a port, or somehow it has been walked in, that either is already entered into a major city in the U.S. or cities, or they are trying to prevent them from entering in by detecting them through technology on these drones. And again, I saw people asking this in the comments about nuke sniffing drones. Yes, that is a thing. I saw a lot of people saying, I had no idea in the comments. Let me just switch this over here for you so you can see it. Yes, drones have been used to monitor radiation levels and to collect data about nuclear explosions. So if there is nuclear activity going on, we have nuke sniffing planes. We also have nuke sniffing drones. So they're saying they believe that this is what's going on. This would also explain why all agencies are playing dumb, as if they told us the truth, that there would be some sort of mass panic and chaos in major cities like New York and New Jersey if they were to tell the general public this information. And again, we have been hearing for quite some time warnings from the FBI about a coordinated attack against our U.S. infrastructure, against U.S. cities. There have been warnings about sleeper cells. And so right now they're saying this major issue with the drones and our government not really doing anything about it, that this is a cause for concern, because it could mean that right now we are under the threat of a potential attack. And we had heard these warnings that as we got closer to the end of the year, that this would be the time as we were entering into the transition of power, that there could be an attack. So, again, this is the theory that somewhere between now and maybe the inauguration, or over the course of the next couple of months, they could be trying to orchestrate this and initiate some sort of an attack on U.S. soil. But like I said, we will see. I will keep you up to speed, but that is starting to put the pieces together as we are seeing New Jersey mayor, first responders instructed to wear hazmat suits if the drone falls from the sky. And I had shared with you that earlier this morning about, they were saying that call the bomb squad if these fall. Well, now it's starting to make a little bit more sense as to why, because these are nuke detecting, sniffing drones. New Jersey fire officials issue a warning to stay away from any downed drones. They also probably don't want the public or anybody to see that this is what it is if these go down. New Jersey's largest utility firm is begging feds to shut down the airspace over their nuclear plants as mystery drones are spotted, as they're saying that these are all over the nuclear plants. So these are potentially nuke sniffing drones, they're saying. New Jersey Navy base confirms multiple drones have entered into the airspace, and we're also seeing these in airspaces at other facilities around the U.S. So this makes us also wonder, are they concerned that these potentially could hit other bases around the world as well? Sinister mystery drones over U.S. bases as experts sound the alarms in a stern warning. And as we had heard, Donald Trump and several of the people here on the channel, I think like a lot of people have been just on top of this the whole time. Big Sal up north, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, thanks for staying on top of things on the front end of this. Steve, you are very welcome. I will continue to keep you up to date. Donald Trump had said, mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now. Let them know. Just say, hey, these are for security purposes. We're concerned about a potential attack, and that is why we're doing this. This is for your safety. Of course, a lot of people are not going to believe them because they keep us in the dark like this all the time. But now I'm starting to think that that is what this is. For this to be going on this long, and for them to be over such sensitive sites, and for the federal government not to do anything about it, if this was China or Iran or some other person's drones, I would imagine that something would have been done about these quite a while ago. Initially, we had heard that congressman come out and say that he had heard that it was from Iran, but now maybe there is a potential attack that could be orchestrated from Iran, but the drones are ours, and they are trying to help defend against potential attacks here on U.S. soil. Otherwise, shoot them down, Donald Trump says. He is saying, don't let us just be in the dark about this. Let us know what's going on. And as I mentioned, we saw the interview that took place with the New Jersey mayor, and that is really where it started to come together, was when he said, hey, when you put it all together, the information that we got, it really doesn't make sense except for the fact that this is likely U.S. drones, and this is some sort of defense mechanism to keep us safe from a potential attack. And for those of you hopping on a little bit late, I'll play it one more time. Let me know if you agree after you watch this that this is what is going on. You know what? If you agree with me, if you are not me, but this theory, this is what is coming together. And to me, I really am starting to think that this is probably what it is. If you agree with this theory, put a 1. If you think, no, this isn't what it is, put a 2. If you think it's something else, but put a 1 if you think this is probably what it is. And I can see why they probably don't want to say this. They don't want to cause mass panic and concern, because they're saying that we believe at this time that there is potentially a nuclear bomb that is in the U.S. It could be in major cities right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this footage so you can see it for yourself.
Michael Melham is the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey. Now, when you walked up to set just moments ago, you said you were just briefed. What can you tell us?
On the way here, I was on the phone with my OEM team, and we now have guidance coming from the state. And that guidance does say 2 different things. First of all, if there is a downed drone in our vicinity, we are immediately to call the bomb squad of our county. And second, our fire department has been instructed to make sure they wear hazmat suits.
So if something falls out of the sky that people have seen, and some of these things are as big as an SUV, if that happens, you're to treat this more than a plane crash. It's treated like an attack on the homeland?
That is correct, because they're not quite sure if there's a payload or not. And that's what we were told during our briefing on Wednesday.
Wow. So look, you said that you were insulted by how the Pentagon and the White House, their messaging coming out. Tell me what you're hearing from them, and why doesn't it match what you were just told moments ago?
So we're being told that people in New Jersey must be crazy, that they're only seeing small aircraft, and that's just not the case. If you're on the ground in New Jersey, my residents are concerned, and they're quite alarmed because they have no idea what's hovering just over their houses.
Have you seen these?
I have.
And how would you describe it?
They are definitely small aircraft. I mean, you got to understand, a drone is considered an aircraft because it's flying in unrestricted space or restricted space. So it's considered an aircraft. These do look like a small aircraft. There's no doubt about that. They don't look like the personal drones that we're used to seeing. But they're very large, very large.
All right, let me get to this. After several lawmakers have called for authorities to shoot down the drones, now residents say that they'll just have to take matters into their own hands if the government is refusing to act. A couple of social media posts representing that sentiment now. A good shotgun will fix that problem. Another semi-automatic 3-inch Magnum, 00 buck full shot. Let me ask you this, because also what you told me as you were sitting down, we had quite the conversation. There are several theories, and then some people based on high-level conversations, like our own New Jersey representative, Jeff Van Drew, Tony Gonzalez, congressman out of Texas, are saying they're having high-level conversations with law enforcement and also experts who are saying that there's a possibility that there's an Iranian mothership with drones. Now, you sat down and told me something even more disturbing.
Yeah, so what we're being told, we had an unprecedented briefing on Wednesday. I mean, 200 state mayors were all gathered together, and we learned exactly what the state of New Jersey learned, which is very little. But the thing that we did take away from that was that we were told very point blank that these drones are hovering over our critical infrastructure. Now, that's interesting because they're not doing any harm. They're just hovering over that. We're also told that there's no credible threat. When you start putting things together that they're telling us, critical infrastructure, no credible threat, they're unwilling to shoot them down. They're unwilling to do a temporary ban. And we can see them that they have lights on them. So something's not adding up here. It sounds like it might very well be our highest level government. It might be government assets that are being deployed as a countermeasure.
As a countermeasure. So there you have it. He said this is our highest level defense assets. And this is a countermeasure to potential attack that could be coming to the United States. And there you literally heard the mayor of New Jersey himself come out and say it, that he is saying when you put the pieces together, it really doesn't make sense. And what it feels like is that this is a defense mechanism for a potential attack that could be coming against the United States here on our soil. So that coming out from the New Jersey mayor, and they are keeping us in the dark to try to not cause mass panic to spread. So this is now what is coming out on this. So they believe that at this time there could be a potential attack on U.S. soil, is what we are hearing, and that these drones that we are seeing everywhere that are coming out at night, that they're saying pose no threat. that are not from a foreign entity, and to not shoot down. And if they do come down, to stay away. And for those first responders to wear hazmat suits, they are saying it's because they are likely nuke sniffing drones from our own government, trying to find if they can discover where they believe these have been snuck in or if they're coming in right now. And so they're saying that this is what they believe it is at this time. Now, like I said, as more information comes out, I'll be sure to let you guys know, but this is the latest coming out on this, and a lot of people have been keeping their eyes on this. Thank you to all of the members here on the channel, the subscribers that have been keeping me in the loop, sending me videos, letting me know that this is going on. We had heard before from the Pentagon that this was nothing, and actually, earlier I shared with you a video. I'll play it for you. We had heard from John Kirby, and he had said, listen to what he has to say on this. I thought this was just wild. And the reporter just tears him apart. And we all know he's lying, but now it's kind of like, well, they're lying because they don't want us to know the potential threat that could be posed to us at this time. Now, let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think that they should lie to us if there is, potentially a nuclear attack that could take place, and they just don't want to cause mass panic, just keep us kind of in the dark however much they can? Should they lie to us, or should they tell us the truth? Put a T if you think they should tell us the truth. Put a L if you think that they should lie to us. Because, hey, what if there is this situation, but they discover that they're able to stop it? They're able to capture it, keep it under wraps. Nobody will ever know. There was never any mass panic. So maybe that's what they're thinking, is that, hey, we'll lie to the American public. We won't tell them that this is going on. Maybe we can discover this or thwart this without anybody knowing. Just lie to the American public. No one will ever know. And likely, how many times in the past has this already happened? How many things have potentially been on the brink of chaotic disruption in the United States, and they never told us? They lied. They managed to thwart it, swept it under the rug. It never happened. So I'm sure that this is probably the approach that they typically take. But now Donald Trump is coming out and saying, no, just tell the truth. We all know you're lying. Just tell the American people what's going on. And I see all the T's coming in. People are saying, I would rather have you just tell me the truth. Let me know. So that way we're not in the dark and panicking over these drones if they're actually here to protect us. But take a look at this. This was earlier that came out today from John Kirby,
communications advisor and assistant to the president. John, good to have you with us. What do you make of the reaction? A lot of people were unhappy with that comment that you made yesterday, and felt like you were, telling people that they were nuts or that they didn't know what they were seeing with their own eyes.
No, not at all, Martha. That's the farthest thing that I would ever do. I was simply reiterating what the FBI and what the Department of Homeland Security have relayed to us about what they've been.
Okay, I want to stop for a second. Look at the news reporter's face, like just disgust, and she does not hold back. She tears him apart, holds his feet to the fire, and we all know that they're withholding information. Listen to what it is that he says.
Been able to corroborate, and we haven't been able to corroborate everything. I said many of the corroborated sightings have turned out to be piloted aircraft. I didn't say all of them, and what I said was those are the ones we were able to corroborate. There's certainly ones that we have not been able to, and we don't know the answer to it. And I strongly recommend that for folks that are seeing these things and documenting them, to share that as they can with Department of Homeland Security and the FBI,
right, well, let's
the investigators.
do that. Let's share it with you right now. Let's put up this photo. This is the close-up one. Here we go. This is in Bernardsville, New Jersey. So, John, are you able to see this photo?
Welcome to Stock Interiors, your custom automotive carpet and interior specialists.
No, ma'am.
You don't have a monitor there?
No, actually, I turned the monitor off. It distracts me, so I didn't see it.
All right. Well, you'll have to take a look at it after, but I can describe it to you. It is large. It has a white bar that goes through the middle. The right-hand side is half lit up white on the top and red on the bottom. The other side is green. So what would that, you're a former military person yourself. You're an admiral. You're the White House National Security Communications advisor. I'm sure you have seen some of these images. So what is that we're looking at?
It's difficult for me to tell you, Martha. We don't really know. It is possible that some of these things could be commercial drones, developed for commercial purposes. It's possible that they could be owned by private citizens.
But why don't we know, John? That's the point. Why doesn't the United States government no, it seems silly. I mean, it feels a lot like the Chinese spy balloon. It was like, oh, we don't know, it's not a problem. Then we watched it go all the way across the country, and we kept hearing, you know, we're not really sure where it came from until we saw it popped and, you know, floated down over the ocean.
That's not quite how it went. We were very honest with the American people that we knew it was Chinese, and we knew that where it was going to go, and we were pretty comfortable given the analysis that there wasn't going to be an intelligence threat by it. And we shot it down once it was over safe waters and wasn't going to hurt anybody. But back to this. Why don't we know? I wish I could tell you exactly why we don't have an answer for you here in the afternoon on the 13th of December, but I can tell you that we are working on it very, very hard to know, because we want to answer those questions the same as those folks in New Jersey want answers to them, and we are working on this very, very hard. We are now applying. There was an interagency conversation this morning about this topic, where we have now decided to employ some additional technology to New Jersey and some additional personnel to try to get a better sense of what these things are. And as I said yesterday, Martha, as soon as we know, we're going to.
No, I hear you. This is shocking. I got to tell you, this is shocking. Okay, and I'm not the only person who feels this way. This was happening at Langley a month ago, okay? These people are not crazy. They're seeing these things with their own eyes. This is not normal behavior. They are not planes that are coming in one direction and they're heading into Newark Airport and then they're landing, okay? We spend $824 billion on defense. We have the greatest intelligent capability in the world. So how can you stand there and say to the country right now, gosh darn, we just don't know what these are?
Because I'm not going to lie to you or to the American people, and I'm not going to say we know something when we don't. And we would never, ever stoop to think that an American citizen was crazy or nuts because of what they're seeing and what they're documenting. We're taking that imagery seriously, and we're doing the best we can to analyze it, and we encourage people to come forward if they have additional sightings and imagery. We want to do the best we can to triangulate it, but I'll be gosh darn if I'm going to stand up here and make up stuff that I don't know to be true.
We don't want you to make up anything. You know, do you know and you can't say? Can you tell me that?
No, I'm telling you, Martha, I'm telling you we don't.
You don't know.
We can't corroborate every single sighting. Some of them we have, not all of them, and we're working hard to do that. We know people are afraid of it. We know people have concerns. We have those same concerns.
Yeah, because they're flying over your house, and it sounds like there are motorcycles landing on your roof. So let me ask you this: one, person who watched this online said they think it's a Pterodynamics Transwing Drone XP4, which is being developed by the U.S. Navy as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages between land and moving ships in high seas and winds. They're suggesting it's an American company. We asked the company.
Yeah, so I just want to pause it right there just to let you guys know. We have heard this over and over again. We're hearing these are U.S. drones. A lot of drone specialists are coming out and saying that these are U.S. drones. And now we're hearing why they are U.S. drones, and it is because we are under the threat of a potential attack here on our own soil, and these are here to try to sniff out what they believe could be a nuclear attack. And just to clarify the severity of this, they're saying like this could be huge. I mean, we're talking about a nuclear detonation potentially that could unfold here on U.S. soil, or an EMP, and they believe that this could be in cities or a major city, and they're also scoping, that is why we're hearing they're scoping out nuclear facilities, they're scoping out military bases, major cities, because right now they're saying that there is a major concern, and they're trying to keep us in the dark, so that way there is not mass panic. But right now you're hearing Donald Trump and several other people saying, we know that you are divulging information from us, they're keeping it from us. Just let us know. Just tell the American people. And so, as this is starting to come out now, people will know what's going on. I think that will ease the tensions and just, but I think it's pretty apparent. We all can agree that we can tell that there is lies coming out here, and she is tearing him apart. She's holding his feet to the fire, not let him get away with it. Let's keep watching.
They said we can't speculate on the origin of the drones that are flying over New Jersey. So is that an avenue that has been inspected? Is this a private company that is practicing something? And wouldn't they have to clear something with somebody to have this kind of activity?
It could very well be, as I said, these could be commercially developed drones of some kind.
Why not just take one down and figure out what's going on?
Well, the idea of taking something down, again, you want to worry about public safety. First of all, we don't have enough conclusions to take that kind of a policy action. But let's just assume for a minute, Martha, that we did. I mean, you're not going to want to shoot something down where it could hit somebody's house or hurt somebody.
Well, the Coast Guard says that there are 30 of them following one of their ships in the ocean. So would that work?
I mean, again, we have to develop the policy options based on what we know we're dealing with here, and we just don't know enough to make those to take those kinds of actions. But my goodness, we're going to do everything we can to find out, and we're going to share as much as we can. I understand it's frustrating for folks.
Yeah.
It's frustrating for us. We want to know as well.
What does President Biden say about it?
He also has tasked the team to look into this and to be energetic in doing it to try to get answers. He saw some of these images yesterday. He has talked to his team, including his top leaders, including at the Defense Department. And
Have you called in like AI experts or said like, why don't we ask Elon Musk what he thinks, or brought in outside experts?
We're working really hard right now inside in the interagency, and certainly supporting the FBI and DHS as they investigate this. And if we need to have additional conversations with people outside the lifelines, we certainly will do that. But I want to make sure I don't get ahead of the investigators and what they're doing.
It just seems weird. I mean, people, they're low. They fly fairly low, some of these. It just, I think, is amazing that the White House has no idea what's going on. I think that makes people feel really unsettled. In New Jersey, they sent out an intelligence bulletin, I should say, issued in December of 2024 with recommendations for encountering downed UAVs. And it says a downed or landed drone should not be approached. It says request hazardous materials response unit or local hazmat team. And then it says request the nearest bomb squad. Do you agree with those recommendations if one of these things comes into someone's house or lands in their yard, or they have to deal with it?
Yeah, look, I haven't seen that directive, but all that makes perfect sense to me as a former military person. If something like an aircraft of any kind lands in your backyard or close to you or your family, call the authorities. Don't approach it. You don't know what it is, and you don't know what kind of fuel might be on board. You absolutely should just call the authorities. Make sure you report it. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. You don't want to get hurt.
Okay. One last question for you, and it's in another area. It's in the Middle East, where obviously, John, there is a lot going.
So there you have it, you guys. That was John Kirby giving his response to all of this. And we had heard him earlier in the Pentagon, or excuse me, in the White House. Let's go ahead and see here. I want to share with you what he had to say earlier as well.
That's a very good point. I don't think a lot of people are making that. There are a lot of aircraft in the New York City area just based on the population. Here's John Kirby taking a bit of a sidestep on it. Watch.
While there is no known malicious activity occurring, the reported sightings there do, however, highlight a gap in authorities. And so we urge Congress to pass important legislation that will extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities so that we are better prepared to identify and mitigate any potential threats to airports or other critical infrastructure, and so that state and local authorities are provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well.
Okay,
So there you have it, you guys. And again, they're just tearing him apart because we can all tell that he is not telling the truth. And they're saying that, yeah, you need to just be upfront and honest with the American people. So the latest coming out, that's all starting to come together, thanks to the New Jersey mayor who came out and said, it doesn't make sense that they say they don't know where these are from, yet at the same time they know that these pose no threat. And we're also hearing from various sources that these are U.S. drones, that these are defensive items that are scoping out our land for potential attack that they believe that is on the way or is already here. And again, these are what we have heard is that this could be a suitcase nuke that has been walked into the United States, or several of them. And so these are actually nuke sniffers that are ours, that are here to try to defend the homeland and help us against potential attacks. And again, as I mentioned, this has been starting to come out today. I discovered it a couple of hours ago, and then I just was like shocked because this is, I think that this is very concerning. This is very serious. This could be a major attack on U.S. soil, unlike anything that we have ever seen. And they're trying to, I think, avoid panic and disruption and chaos throughout. But now I'm starting to see other other sources coming out with it. So let me go ahead and share with you again, for those of you hopping on a little bit late. Here's one of them that has come out, but I've seen this across several that are starting to report on it. Like I said earlier today, I came across it, but I was having trouble with it. I was thinking, like, man, they're not wanting this to cause mass panic. I'll just say this is a theory, but here it is. Here's what somebody wrote on this. After speaking with some folks, and I won't go into detail on their identities, I now believe these drones are our own military and government attempting to intercept a suitcase nuke. So as we have heard here on the channel before, just launching a nuke at the United States, we're going to shoot it down. So we're hearing that this has been walked into the United States. They're trying to intercept a suitcase nuke that has been snuck in, that either has already entered a major city or cities, or they are trying to prevent them from entering in by detecting them through technology of these drones. This would also explain why the agencies are playing dumb. As if they told us the truth, there would be a mass panic and chaos in major cities like New York and New Jersey. And if they were to tell the general public this information. So they're saying that is what they believe is currently going on at this time. Now, as I mentioned, I've actually had a couple of different sources that I'm seeing that this is coming from. I actually have somebody that I know personally that said they spoke to a high-level official, and they said that they believe that this is going to happen very soon. We're hearing probably before inauguration time, before January 20th with President Donald Trump, that there could be some serious attacks unfolding. So, like I said, though, I just want to clarify, this is the latest information coming out. This is a theory as to what is going on, but it makes a whole lot of sense, I got to tell you. And I had several people that have asked me, and thank you to the community that's been sending me in information regularly. I've been trying to verify, keep things up to date so everybody knows what's going on. Also, if you appreciate the channel, do me a favor, take a second. I see we got 7,200 people, 400 people live with me in the room. Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Help spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? But they are saying that they believe that this could be unfolding here very soon. And this is starting to get leaked out. So, but like I said, I will continue to keep you guys up to speed on everything so you know exactly what is taking place, because they're saying that there could potentially be attacks coming. So to me, it makes a whole lot of sense now as the pieces are coming together why they were doing this, because they didn't want to cause mass panic. Maybe they were thinking they'd be able to intercept it or thwart the potential attack that was coming, but it has not unfolded that way. They have not been able to thwart it at this time, and they are still needing to check on them. So right now, my personal thought is they're not shooting at anybody. They are not causing any harm as far as we see. We believe that they are ours. And so I would just say that would be my thought at this time. Originally, I believe that member of Congress, I thought that it was a foreign entity that was coming in. They were scouting out our stuff. And I was just up in arms trying to understand why it was that our U.S. government was allowing this and not doing something. I mean, I know that our commander-in-chief is asleep on the beach, but I mean, come on. Somebody has to step up and protect the American people. And now I think it makes a whole lot of sense, because there's no way they could not know what this is. They're keeping us in the dark because they know what this is, but they don't want to cause mass panic. So to me, it started to make a whole lot of sense as things progressed, that this was not a foreign entity, that this was in fact our drones, and these drones are here for the purpose of actually trying to help us. But they're trying to not cause panic simultaneously. America First, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, like anyone has walked a suitcase nuke into the nuclear power plant, all lies. So a lot of people saying they don't agree, they don't believe it. But let me ask you this. Our southern border during this administration, what do you think? We have seen millions upon millions of people walking in. We've heard the warnings of sleeper cell people being here. And what I've been reporting on for over the past year with that taking place are horrendous border security that has flown, they have come in by the millions. I would not be surprised if this was already here. If it was already here, and now they're receiving the warnings, they're on high alert. We know they've been watching these sleeper cells for years. And I've shared with you in detail the cities that they're in, what they're anticipating, and maybe they're thinking that now is the time. And so now they are trying to do something about it to make sure that they can try to thwart any potential attack that could be coming. Now, we will see. And like I said, I will keep you guys up to date on everything, every step of the way, so you know what's going on regardless. So that way you know what's taking place. And I always say here on the channel, don't be scared, be prepared. If this is, in fact, what is going on, it means that we are potentially on the verge of an attack on U.S. soil. And this would definitely take us to a World War III scenario. We would be at war if this were to unfold here. So, but we will see. Let us hope and pray that nothing comes of this. And we'll see. I'm pretty sure now that this is starting to come out today, we will see what the response is. My guess, let me know your thoughts, is that if this is the case, that they will likely deny it. I don't know. We will see. But I'll keep you guys up to speed every step of the way. That is the latest coming out on this. We had heard before that if they fell down from the sky, to call the bomb squad, that those that were going in, first responders, were to wear hazmat suits. And now we're also hearing that these are likely ours, and they are nuke sniffers, and they are here to actually help us. But like I said, not everybody's buying it, and it's hard to know what is true and what is not when you're being lied to so much. But like I said, as more comes out, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel. That is the latest. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet and you appreciate the content, the updates, hit that like button for me. Help spread this out further. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? All these articles, videos, they're going to be linked down in the description below. I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it. Even the Instagram post that I read from, it is linked down in the description so you can see it for yourself, and additional resources as well. But you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.